Absolutely.
All right, let's touch this up. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Game 2 for the Kaspersky King of the Hill. This is another best of 5. This particular best of 5 worth €200. This is Rifkin. I'm casting with Zombie Grub, and spawning here in the upper right corner of the map, it's going to be your blue Zerg player, Acer's Nerchio.
And in the bottom left, it's going to be the red Protoss, Socke. He's currently up 1-0.
Emil! Our Polish friend, our brother from another mother, please don't lag out. Oh, Nerchio, or sorry, Socke, no love for the Polish. Just the immediate get out.
Oh,
this is what I'm talking about. Nerchio will be BM to a lot of people, but very rarely to his own Polish brethren. Yeah, BNet is having some problems. It's not just Emil, because we saw other people taking those hits earlier.
Yeah, it's maybe it's gonna go into that thing where it's like achievements aren't being loaded right now, and I'm like, why do I even care, BNet? Why do I even care?
Oh, I know.
You get that?
Yeah,
right?
that's like the most. You're like between games. You're like, okay, cool. I guess I'm not gonna get that 5,000 kill streak or whatever. Like, big freaking whoop. But okay, this is more of a map that I think both of these guys. Whirlwind's been in the pool for a long time. This is not a map that anyone's going to be unfamiliar with. We're not going to have a Guanglangi Beach. I can't say that name. We're not going to have the same situation we had last map, is what I'm trying to make here for Nerchio. So whether he knew the map, whether he didn't know the map, I think we're going to see a little more standard play out of our Zerg player this time.
Yeah, it's a standard map for standard play, so that's the way you go. Socke, though, going for that Forge fast expand up at the front, so it seemed like very much so last game was them playing to the map, it being really, really difficult and different. So Socke not usually going for that gateway wall up at the front, I believe.
Yeah, I think a lot of his hand was really forced too. Like, I don't think we got to see the strategy that, say, Socke necessarily wanted to do, because when you go for something like a 10 pool, you force your opponent to react. They don't get to say, all right, I'm just going to ignore this and keep going for like the Immortal Colossus or whatever. Like, you have to react to that. We saw Socke, actually. I got to give him big props. Regardless of how Nerchio played that game, he reacted perfectly to everything Nerchio did.
Yeah, he did. Nerchio was kind of trying to push and prod, and Socke was just indestructible. You know, he was like, okay, yeah, I can deal with that. I can deal with that too.
You know, one thing I'm actually a little scary about for Socke, he already showed that he's comfortable going Colossus, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with getting Colossus on the field. But the way Nerchio's played the series prior to this, he's very happy with his air units, and Corruptors and Mutalisks kind of trump Colossus most of the time.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like Socke, though, you know, one thing we saw from our last Pros player was that he invested into 3 Immortals almost every single game, I believe, except the last one where he needed Immortals. Yeah, exactly. So really, I think Socke's just going to trade that for Colossus. So what I'm trying to say is, like, both Protoss players didn't really seem set up that well at all, you know, for a meterless switch, even though technically our last Protoss player did not get Colossus.
Well, those 3 bases coming out of Nerchio. Playing standard is as standard does. Candicor's already up here for Socke, so he's not too worried about anything coming in. This one lane will probably come up the ramp and die.
Yeah.
Ooh, actually, takes a hit like a champ, and it turns away.
I always wonder what the photon cannons, what are they even called? They don't have a name, just photon cannon. That's actually their weapon name. But what they look like to a Zergling is just like a Kamehameha, like right at their face.
Dude, well, I don't know, because it's like, I can't remember. Kamehamehas, weren't they like yellow though? Because like the photon cannon's like blue.
No, Kamehamehas are blue.
Okay, I'm just misremembering Dragon Ball Z. Because I was gonna say it's more like a Hadoken, I think. But either way.
Yeah, either one. I mean, they're both very similar.
Big ball of energy coming out your face. Nobody's gonna be happy about that. Not a Zergling, not a Marine, not a Zealot.
It's true. One probe, unfortunately, not mining. Lazy probe.
This is that natural. Oh, yeah, scumbag. You know, it's better than following. It's always hilarious watching pros fall because it looks like they're mining, and you won't really notice that at a glance because they're not idle because they're moving.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my, he's even. I'm pretty sure he's still microing, putting them on the closest patch, but he just does not notice that that's not going. So, unfortunate. But Zealot does go out here. It's gonna not do too much to scare away a Zergling, I guess. Has a stock route, not going forward to apply that pressure. And another difference between Socke and oh my god, I forgot his name. Showtime is that the Mothership Core has been a lot later.
I'm sorry, Masad making the lamest joke in chat. I want to what's the opposite of a shout out? I want to not shout out Masad, saying oh, you guys want feedback at High Templar?
Oh, I see what you did there.
So lame, but so good, Masad. I love you, man. Yeah, if Nerchio prevails through, we might be able to get him on for some awkward, awesome tri-casts and get some Zerg analysis. High Grandmaster player there in chat, guys. Masan, big shoutouts to him. Well, not shoutouts, whatever. Overlord gonna come here to the base, try and scout this out. There's not a whole lot for him to see. He'll see the extra gateways coming down right now, but this isn't anything out of the ordinary. 4 gates off of 2 bases, pretty darn standard. Now, if he saw 8 gates, that would be a big tell.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just bewildered by this probe, man. He has been taking so many probes off from the exact same mineral patch, and yet that one does not go anywhere.
No, it's following! The other one's following now! This is the one I was talking about earlier. He's got an idle probe and a following probe.
I mean, luckily it's not like the first 2 minutes of the game. It doesn't really matter, but man, is it annoying.
Zombie Grub, this is big. Game over, Socke.
Oh,
yeah, he
yeah,
actually
definitely.
fixes it now. No, he doesn't actually. The following, he fixes the idle one, but not the following one.
He keeps fixing something, not the other thing, and it's annoying to watch. But you know, the game is finally starting to heat up, so
OCD,
hopefully other things will start to happen. It looks like it's gonna be some 4-gate with double Stargate behind it.
This is kind of standard. When you expect Mutalisk out of your opponent, you'll go for that Stargate. If your opponent doesn't go Mutalisk, but instead goes Roach Hydra, well, Void Rays aren't too bad either. But of course. The one thing is, right now, Socke's got a lot of zealots on this Mothership Core coming in. These Lings are going to have a hard time holding off. They need the Roaches to really shut this down.
Yeah, 1 Roach going to come to save the day. Nope, he already has 4, so he's going to have enough to shut down this Zealot pressure, but behind it, he is...
This gaggle of Roaches.
It's a murder of Lings, a gaggle of Roaches.
Crows everywhere. Caw, caw. But okay, Zealots are going to get killed here. This he could recall if he wanted to, but probably not going to be bothered to spend the energy on this. It's just Zealots after all. Stalkers are really the scary, and Sentries, of course, too, are the ones you don't want to lose.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this has been happening with Liberty too. You just sacrifice the Zealots, try and get whatever you can done, but it doesn't really matter if they go down. And the Mothership Core, always save it for later if you need to overcharge or anything like that. First 2 Phoenix are on the way. Of course, Nerchio did scout this with an Overlord, so he knows to have Spore Colors up, and that's what he's getting. And once again, going into that Spire.
But that's perfectly fine for Socke. He's going to be very happy about that with that double Stargate production. Now, he has revealed 2 Phoenix around the field. Nerchio may change his tech path entirely once he recognizes this, or he may try and brute force in, as we saw earlier today, in the initial series today. I mean, Phoenix is, again, without that Onion Pulse Crystal, they run rampant over Mutalisk, but second Corruptors get on the field. There's not a lot they can do.
We'll have to see if initial, like, 10 Corruptors that we saw in the first game, or... go straight into Needless and try and catch Socke off guard. But the Phoenixes are going in here. Eventually, they're going to get a scout on the Spire. I'm not sure if it's going to be before or after it finishes, though.
Roach is still just kind of taking some damage from the Mothership Core. Not much, because of course that's how Mothership Cores work. They attack fast, but they don't do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Roaches take a lot of damage, so they're not going down anytime soon. Free damage, though. It's always nice. Queen is not going to go down. No, might go down with some nice fancy footwork from Socke.
Both of the Spore Colors attacking, and oh man, he gets out alive.
Yeah, that was actually very nicely done by Socke, and he has to go back and defend this now. 2 Voiders are on the way. Nerchio does have to back off because of the, especially the force fields, but Colossus are going to be following this up, so he's going to get a very scary mid to late game army.
Well, Socke, he's not catching a whole lot in the middle of the field right now, but it's getting enough so these Roaches are like getting dwindled out, I guess. Good way to describe it.
Yeah, and important note is that he did not scout the Spire. Oh, he did scout the Spire at the 3rd, so hopefully he clicked on it and recognized it was indeed a Spire and not just another Spore or something like that. Also scouts the 4th, and his reaction, getting +1 air weapon, so he's investing a lot into those Void Rays, going to get that very deadly late game pump.
I'm actually looking forward to this. I love watching the Phoenix Wars because, again, Phoenixes are the only unit in the game that shoot and move. Well, Void Rays sometimes do, but they're not meant to. But Phoenixes are intentionally made to move and shoot at the same time, so it's really fun and very dynamic watching them kite around Zerg air armies.
The Corruptors are out. They're going to scare away the Phoenix, so he at least confirms, hey, not Mutalisk. That's great. I don't have to put cannons up in my main and natural and whatnot. But the Corruptors still kind of scary. I have Void Rays, and not that many. Really, the scary number is like 8. That's what's really scary. 4 can be dealt with some Corruptors.
That's some okay force fields coming into Socke. Not too many, though. Doesn't really catch too many Lings with that either. That would have been big to catch all of them very early on. But these Corruptors, they're going to shell away here at the Phoenixes. Where are the Phoenixes doing the back line? They need to be on the front lines, taking those hits for the Void Rays. Void Rays, of course, do a ton of damage. They kind of trump Corruptors within that overcharge mode, but they're also very susceptible. They don't have a lot of numbers on their side. Phoenixes, again, running around. Why are these not tanking for the Void Rays?
Oh, Nerchio's doing a good job of, target firing the Void Rays, and he does win the ground fight as well. I think he knew he was going to win the ground fight. It was questionable about the Void Rays, but ends ended up going very much so in his favor, and he's
Yeah.
going to get a free third for his trouble, meanwhile being on 4 bases, and Socke's not looking too well in game number 2.
He's in a rough spot. Losing at third base is not preferable. But again, let's not forget, guys, Protoss can comfortably play off 2 base pretty darn easily. And
Yeah,
the
I'm
roaches. He's not going to get that last card for Sally, but we'll get a couple roaches on the way out. That prismatic alignment, of course, makes them do bonus damage versus armor, which is pretty much everything Nerchio has on the field, save those lings.
Yeah, pretty damn good stuff. You know, that's one thing that Socke does have going for him, is that possibility of getting that army that's too scary to deal with, and then finally getting that third back up. But,
oh, no.
Oh, Muta's transition is actually coming out, and Muta's deal with small numbers of void rays very, very effectively, of course. So I think this will be the nail in the coffin.
Even without the Mutalisk, yeah, like, Socke just cannot get his air army up. These Corruptors are doing a great job. Mothership Core going to fall here as well. And oh no, miss rallying that Void Ray forward. Going to cost him yet another crucial unit. Meanwhile, I mean, Zealot counterattacks going on behind this. I mean, Socke's not giving up by any means, but seeing these Mutalisks, he just doesn't have an answer to it. He's kind of forced to do one of two things. Either mass produce Void Rays or mass produce Phoenixes. He needs both, but can't get both.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. That's always a problem with trying to get that air army, that really super good late game army, is that you're susceptible in the mid game to those swells that Nerchio shows us, and then you just have there's no way you can actually accumulate that big enough army, you know?
Oh
so,
man, there's an Ultralist swap if somehow Socke holds this, but looks like, yeah, just GG gonna get thrown down. Nerchio gonna take the game. And this will tie it up. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, big shout out. We peaked at 1,000 viewers. You guys are awesome. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Thank you one and all for tuning in.